For months, we've had devastating revelations of the depths of the Chinese Communist Party's influence in Canadian politics. The corruption is throughout the Liberal Party. It's not just Liberal MPs like Han Dong and Liberal senators like Yuen Pao Wu. It goes all the way up to the Trudeau family themselves. Justin Trudeau's brother, Alexandre Trudeau, personally accepted a six-figure check from the Chinese government to the Trudeau Foundation. Absolute corruption, and it goes straight to the top. The whole country, including the normally liberal-friendly media, have been appalled by Trudeau's corruption and their gross attempts to cover it up, first by hiring a close family friend, David Johnston, to cover it up, only to learn that Johnston himself was utterly compromised by China. There have been some really awful moments, like when this Liberal MP tried to attack an honest journalist for reporting on the corruption.
Cooper, to you now. On March 22nd, you published an article with the headline, Liberal MP Han Dong secretly advised Chinese diplomat in 2021 to delay freeing the two Michaels. Do you stand by this headline?
I don't write the headlines, but I stand by the story. I know that Global News stands by the story, and there is a legal procedure underway. And the story speaks for itself, and the statement of defense speaks for itself. The story stands.
Thank you. So despite the fact that the article used the term allegedly at least about 10 times, you chose to frame the headline, or the newspaper chose to frame the headline excluding that language in the headline. Was that done on purpose?
I said at the outset I won't speak to editorial processes or legal procedures, but I can assure the honourable member that legal vetting and editorial vetting of these stories is extremely rigorous.
Thank you.
That's all I'll say.
Why didn't you
matter.
include allegedly in the headline, Mr. Cooper?
Sorry?
Why did you not include allegedly in the headline?
This is a matter for editorial procedures and legal vetting procedures.
Okay. Did you review the transcript from the supposed conversation between MP Dong and the Consular General?
I told the honourable member at the outset that I'm not going to speak to editorial processes, identification of sources, or legal procedures around this story, and I'll repeat it again and again.
Thank you. And will you table the supposed transcript that we've learned from the Right Honourable David Johnston's report does exist? If you have or haven't reviewed that, I understand you won't talk about it. Will you table that with this committee, the transcript, please?
I didn't prepare any materials around that question, and I'll stand, as I told the honourable member, I'm not going to speak to...
So gross. Justin Trudeau is even worse, of course. His security advisor says her top priority is hunting down the whistleblower who leaked the news about the Chinese spying. She's not too concerned about the Chinese corruption itself. It's the whistleblower who told the media about it that Trudeau wants to get. Now, the Conservative Party has done pretty well on this issue. Here, take a listen.
But unfortunately, there's no common sense in Justin Trudeau's Ottawa. We see today that his ski buddy, cottage neighbor, family friend, and member of the Beijing-financed Trudeau Foundation came out and did exactly what I predicted, helped Trudeau cover up the influence by Beijing in our democracy. We know that Beijing interfered in 2 elections to help Trudeau win. We know that Beijing gave $140,000 to the Trudeau Foundation with the express purpose of buying the love and the loyalty of Justin Trudeau. And we know that Trudeau has been briefed on these matters for years and done absolutely nothing about it except try to keep it quiet and name call anyone who spoke out about it. And then in order to further sweep the matter under the rug, he put his friend, his ski buddy, his cottage neighbor, and Trudeau Foundation member, David Johnston, in charge of today's whitewash attempt. Well, Conservatives are not buying it. We need a full public inquiry to get to the bottom of Beijing's interference in our democracy. And that's what I will deliver when I am Prime Minister. There will be a full public inquiry into this mess. And in the meantime, we will continue to push for a real foreign influence registry that exposes anyone who does paid work on behalf of a foreign dictatorship to manipulate our politics. It's just common sense. Let's bring it home. Let's bring home control of our democracy back into the hands of the Canadian.
All right, but here's the thing. The Chinese Communist Party doesn't just target the liberals. They target conservatives too. About a dozen years ago, a conservative member of parliament named Bob Deckert had an affair with a Chinese spy who was working for the state broadcaster Xinhua. But get a load of this guy, a conservative senator named Victor O. Senator Victor O says Chinese Canadians need to fundraise to sue messy reporters. Seriously, let me read a little bit here. A Canadian senator said he wants Chinese Canadians to set up a national foundation that would focus on raising money to fund lawsuits against messy reporters and politicians who try to smear the community. Holy cow. Well, let me read just one more sentence. A video of conservative Senator Victor O making the remarks was uploaded to the social media platform WeChat on June 5th, showing him addressing a group at what was described as the Montreal Chinese Community United Center. The Canadian press obtained the video, which showed O saying in Mandarin that, quote, "We need to raise money to cover the costs for people affected by all of these unreasonable reporters who try to smear Chinese and discredit Chinese." But did you catch that one part? Not the part about hunting down reporters who uncover Chinese Communist Party corruption. The part about him being a conservative. As in, he sits in Pierre Poilievre's Conservative Party in good standing. He's not a liberal. Why is this allowed to happen? For months, Pierre Poilievre himself has been pounding away at Trudeau and the Liberals and the whole crooked Trudeau family and all the corrupt Liberal MPs and senators. And Poilievre was actually brilliant at going after David Johnston, hired by Trudeau to handle the cover-up. I mean, get a load of this.
David Johnston is a ski buddy, chalet neighbor, family friend, and member of the Trudeau Foundation. He has no business in this job because it is a fake job that he is incapable of doing impartially. And none of his recommendations can be taken seriously because he's in a conflict of interest. And frankly, it's incredible that he didn't even mention the Trudeau Foundation in his report, even though publicly available intelligence showed that the dictatorship in Beijing had given money to the Trudeau Foundation for the express purpose of buying the love and loyalty of Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada. Now, Johnson's part of the Trudeau Foundation, so of course he wouldn't want to investigate himself. But frankly, that's why he should have recused himself.
Pierre Poilievre was in sync with the spirit of the times. Canadians are sick of selling out to China. They're sick of the corruption. Canadians are especially sick of politicians and businesses who sell out to Communist China. And yet this whole time, a pro-Chinese Communist Party senator is on Poilievre's Conservative Party team. Now, senators are appointed, and unless he's convicted of a serious crime, he will be in the Senate till he turns 75, which is actually next year. Poilievre didn't appoint Senator Victor O. Stephen Harper did that for whatever reason. But Pierre Poilievre controls who is in his Conservative Party caucus, who's in the party at all. How can Pierre Poilievre mock David Johnston and Han Dong and the rest of the Chinese Communist Party assets, but then smile and shake Victor O's hand and be fine with all the things he said and his plans to sue reporters for uncovering Chinese Communist Party influence? How bizarre. A sitting senator threatening to silence Canadian reporters. That's very Chinese Communist Party of him, isn't it? But look, the thing about being a conservative is you have to have standards and you have to follow them yourself. Liberals make a virtue out of hypocrisy. Liberals break their own rules all the time. It's part of the liberal identity, but conservatives have to stand for something. It's part of being conservative. And you cannot criticize Justin Trudeau on Monday and David Johnston on Tuesday and Han Dong on Wednesday and Yuan Pao Wu on Thursday, but then shake hands with Senator Victor O on Friday. You just can't if you're a conservative. Pierre Poilievre has to kick Victor O out of the Conservative Party. I know that means the Conservatives won't have his vote in the Senate, but look, the Conservatives are massively outnumbered in the Senate anyways. They lose every vote every time already, so it's not like it's going to make a difference. But what makes a difference is that Poilievre has to show he doesn't stand for the kind of bullying and corruption that Victor O has come to represent. If you agree that Victor O has got to go, sign our new petition at kickhimout.ca. We'll personally deliver that petition to the Conservative Party. They simply have to kick out Victor O as a signal that they mean what they say about Chinese Communist Party interference, and as a signal to the many Chinese Canadians who have been bullied by the Chinese dictatorship, even bullied here in Canada, including by diplomats at the Chinese embassy. The Conservatives need to show that not everyone in the establishment is compromised. Not everyone has been bought off by Beijing. Let Justin Trudeau woo the Chinese Communist Party vote. And there is that vote in Canada. Let Trudeau have it. And it is, who knows, maybe hundreds of thousands of voters. But let Pierre Poilievre be the party of Chinese democracy activists and Hong Kong and Tibetan and Uyghur freedom activists, and more importantly, the party of Canadians, regardless of race or ethnicity, the party that stands up to bullies, both foreign and domestic. Go to www.kickhimout.ca. Just because liberals are hypocrites doesn't mean conservatives should be too. Go to kickhimout.ca.
That was an excerpt from the Ezra Levant Show. I'm Ezra Levant. Every weekday, I do a monologue about the topic of the day. Then I interview a fascinating guest either in studio or via Skype. And then I read your mail, whether it's fan mail or hate mail, which is sometimes even more interesting. This is on our premium service, though, called Rebel News Plus. Go to rebelnewsplus.com. It's $8 a month or less if you buy a whole year in advance. You get my show every weeknight, plus Sheila Gunn Reid's show every week. It's called The Gun Show. It's pretty amazing. We rely on you because we do not take a dime from the government. In Canada, that makes us almost unique. So please help us out and help yourself to some great journalism at rebelnewsplus.com.